Welcome to one and all once again for another podcast of Sound of Manchester, where today we'll be discussing about our our build up towards our Watford game at the weekend. I've got Prathamesh with me as always, our stat man, and Pratyush with his first podcast today. So welcome to you, Pratyush.
Thank you, Mihir.
Thank you, Mir.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm the first.
given our well poor run of poor performances against bottom table teams, and with Watford just one win in their entire Premier League campaign, you just know a disaster is about to strike, don't you? For Manchester United.
Yes, I
Well,
believe it is going to be difficult for us. Watford is a team which really desperately needs a win right now to keep themselves alive. They've probably had their third manager this season, so they're definitely down a mile. They do need a win, and I believe they're going to be giving more than 100% each and every game from now until the end of the season to keep themselves in the Premier League.
Yes, and what do you think, Pratyush, that the lineup that United should go with? Do you think that Greenwood should be starting or should Martial be starting as a forward?
I think we should go with Martial. Basically, since it's PL, so I think Martial should get a start. But as you know, for a probable lineup, Lingard should start at AM because Watford usually play with two or three man defenses to cover up for their midfield and for the defense with wingbacks storming forward. So Lingard and Martial can be useful against their Watford lineup because Martial can drop deep, can draw away one or two defenders. Then again, Lingard can press and create a channel for running for the wings. So I think Rashford and James will have a good game against Watford. So I think Marshall should get a start after 60 minutes. Greenwood to unleash his terror on the tired legs. And I think if Paul Pogba is fit and ready to make the bench, so he should also make an appearance after 60 minutes. Like you said that they are desperately in for a win and have poor run performances against bottom place teams. So we'll be needing that creative spark from him, like only if he's fit and on the bench. Otherwise, Marshall should start for me.
Yes, talking about Jesse Lingard, he did score a fantastic solo goal in the 4-2 win a few seasons back. Having said that, we have won the last two games away. We won last season 2-1 as well, where well, both our goal scorers are not in our squad. So, Prathamesh, talking about Watford, we know that they're struggling. They're bottom of the Premier League. They've just got one win all season, but they did have a, a draw against Arsenal. And Gerard Deulofeu and Andre Gray, they're not really in their best of forms, but on their day, they can terrorize any defense.
Yes, we've seen the best bits of Gerard Deulofeu and even the worst in the last couple of seasons. He's been quite a good player, and Andre Gray has always been a good player, even at Burnley and even here. I think his physical presence and his directness has been quite effective for Watford. You look at Watford's team, and I don't think it's been a huge difference from the team that has been performing quite well for them. They've been playing with the likes of Cabasele, Cathcart, Femenia, Mariappa in defense. Capu and Ducore have been quite good in central midfield. Will use Delafeu, Sar, and Dini or Andre Gray as the situation or as the match situation defines. So I think the team hasn't been that bad. I think it's just that they have been underperforming. They have a good lineup. It's a point of clicking at the right moment, and I think it is just an extra bit of motivation for most teams to play well against Manchester United, and we might just see a better performance. And they, as I said, they are really down the mire. They need to pick up their game. And Ben Foster was the Watford goalkeeper. Might just be the most decisive Watford player on the pitch that day. And as we know that there is a tendency of most goalkeepers against us becoming Manuel Neuers. So it just might be another that kind of a day for Ben Foster.
Well, speaking about how teams have the extra incentive to always perform against Manchester United. Vicarage Road, their crowd especially, it more often than not plays as a 12th man for Watford, doesn't it, Pratyush?
Yeah, Vicarage Road has a very good crowd support, like one of the best in the Premier League for me. So, like you said, they can really be a 12th man for Watford. Like they need the motivation to play against a team like us, and their desperation to get points in order to avoid relegation. For a team like Watford and the current roster they have, they shouldn't get relegated. Like we talked earlier in the podcast, they really have a good squad. Capable of finishing at mid-table or top half. Like if the players perform at their all level. But currently they are very much underperforming, and with pressure building upon them to get back points and avoid relegation. So they really will have the motivation, and also they will have the backing of their fans, and they can really work as a 12th man.
And well, speaking about Jesse Lingard, how God, we did speak about him earlier in the podcast. Given that he's gone through a few personal problems, but the last 2 3 weeks he has been improving a little bit by bit. Can we expect a Jesse Lingard which we saw 18 months ago against Watford?
I think we can see, like, not exactly that performance which he gave 18 months ago at Vicarage Road, but bits and pieces of that. Because, like you said earlier, due to his personal problems, he was down and about, but he's picking up again and again. And with the way Watford sets up, with three-man defenses like Kabasel, Mariappa, and Katkat, as a three-man defense, and their two wing-backs storming forward. Lingard can put the defenders under pressure with his constant pressing and creating channels for the wingers to run and the wide areas. So yes, we can expect some explosive performances from him. Goals and assists, I can't predict right now. Since told you earlier, he can give you that bits and piece performances right now. But if he does the job to his ability, maybe he can get on the goal scoring chart too.
And talking about, of course, Watford, United do have a decent head-to-head record against Watford. Prathamesh, I think you have gathered a few stats regarding that.
Yes, I have a few interesting stats about Manchester United and Watford. So head to head, I think Watford haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 12 games, and Watford do not have a win in the last 5 games. They haven't scored in the last 3 games as well. Uh, United haven't lost in the last six, and we have been winning consistently by the odd goal margin for the last 18 months. So I think we have played well against Watford ever since they have got promoted to the big league again. We have only lost to them once. So our record against them is very decent. So you can expect more or less the same record to continue even on Sunday.
And well, speaking about Watford's defensive woes, even we have not been very impressive at the back. With it's 12 games without a clean sheet for us as well in the Premier League. Does that worry you?
I think when you look at our defense, we we haven't always been very convincing. But if you look at bits and pieces in games like against City and against Tottenham, when we have had to defend with almost of our lives on the line, I think we have done quite well. Clean sheets will come eventually. I think it's been a little bit of a concentration issue, and also considering the fact that our youngsters always don't keep hold of the ball during the final phases of the game. So I think once we get better at that, we might expect a clean sheet or two.
Right, right. And just to finish off, just one last point before we finish off. Pratyush, I'll start with you. What are your predictions for the game?
I'll be going with a 1-3 to Manchester United. So the Marias are getting on the score sheet for Watford for me. Then Martial, Rashford, and James getting on the score sheet for us.
And what are your thoughts, Prathamesh?
I think you look at Watford's performance, they've conceded 32 goals in the league this season. 32, that's quite a big number. They have conceded 9 goals in the last 15 minutes. So I don't think defensive expectations a lot from them. They haven't even scored a lot of goals. So I'm putting my money on a 4-0 Manchester United win. I expect Rashford to bag a couple, one goal from the midfield, and probably one set piece goal as well.
Well, set piece goals, that's something that we haven't really seen a lot from United in the past years. So, well, our gentlemen have got their predictions in. If you and you guys, the you listeners, can comment your predictions as well. So, thanks for listening, and as always, do like, do share, do comment, and do subscribe. Thank you very much.